Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming management case study examinations happening in May 2024. My name is Nick and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So in this session, I will be taking you through a Preseen analysis. So let's try to figure out what I'm trying to cover within this session. So first things first, I'll talk about Preseen application because as you already know, I covered these elements in the first webinar. You are playing the role of a finance manager. So you have to be extremely conversant with what happens within your chosen industry as well as your company. And whenever coming up with recommendations, you have to make sure that your recommendations are aligned with the financial situation of the company. So considering all these elements, you need to really work on your pre-scene application with the intention of significantly improving your justifications as well as improving the relevance of your recommendations. You need to focus on bringing in relevant information from the pre-scene document. So first things first, I'll highlight what you're supposed to do when it comes to a pre-scene application. Then I'd move on to an industry analysis, thereby highlighting what happens within this industry in a real sense when you consider the real life dynamics. Then I'd move on to a pre-scene analysis, thereby highlighting the internal dynamics of your chosen company, Flatthall. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritties, let me quickly remind you about what's covered within the upcoming webinars and workshops which we have scheduled for you. Mind you, all these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge, and each of these webinars and workshops will be recorded. So make use of these free resources which we are offering, because on a weekly basis, you have the opportunity of getting in touch with a tutor, and this will help you immensely with regards to keeping track of your performance on a weekly basis. And whenever you have issues or questions, you can raise these concerns at these webinars and workshops and get them answered. And if by any chance, if you miss out on any of the webinars and workshops, you need not worry, because the recorded versions are accessible via our website. So the third webinar is happening on Saturday, the 6th of April at 10 a.m. UK time or 9 GMT, which highlights answering and time management techniques. So out of the four webinars which we have scheduled for you, the third one, or the upcoming webinar, which is happening on the 6th of April, is the most important one. Why? Because we are highlighting answering and time management techniques. So most students end up failing the MCS exam because they are clueless about time management. So if you run out of time, you are not doing your job properly as a finance manager. If so, you'd end up failing the exam for sure. So if you are to ensure a sure pass, you have to make sure that you get your time management right, or else you'd come up with half-hearted answers or incomplete answers. If so, you'd end up failing the exam. So in order to manage your time properly, you need to get your answering technique right. So I'll teach answering as well as time management techniques in the third webinar. And not just the technicalities will be explained to you, I will take you through a mini mock which we'll share with you. And whilst explaining the answer of the mini mock, I'll highlight how to implement these answering and time management techniques in a successful manner. So make sure to attend the third webinar without fail, because if you are clueless about an answering technique, then you are testing your luck at your MCS exam. And the fourth webinar, exam prep, is all about taking you through examiner's comments, because it's of utmost importance that you understand what's requested from you. And on top of that, we'll also highlight what you need to do to develop a higher level of confidence, because as per the CIMA examiner, confident students end up passing the MCS exam comfortably. So in order to get all these things right, attend the fourth webinar. And in the first two workshops, Jared will be taking you through our mock exams, questions which are covered within our mock exams, thereby taking you through P2 and F2 related syllabus areas, and highlighting how and what type of answers you are supposed to develop, and providing you tips pertaining to how pre-scene application needs to be considered when developing answers. And on top of that, within these workshops, Jared will be ready to answer all your questions and concerns. And in the third and final workshop, which is happening 2 or 3 days before your examination, Jared will help you overcome any fears, unnecessary fears, or jitters you'd have closer to the exam, because it's of, as I mentioned earlier, it's extremely important that you walk into your exam with a positive attitude, positive mindset. So all these last minute tips will be provided in the third workshop. So I hope you'd make use of all these free resources and free classes which we are conducting. All right, so with regards to Preseen application, what is the right approach? First things first, you need to know your key information. For instance, Flatthall is the largest PBSA in Towland. So likewise, there's a plethora of relevant and important information highlighted within your Preseen document. So you need to have the capability to understand and remember the most important elements highlighted within the Preseen. So with the intention of ensuring that you really are conversant with the important information, we have developed the annotated Preseen. You'd see what the annotated Preseen looks like in a little while, because when taking you through the internal dynamics of Flatthall, I'd be utilizing our annotated Preseen. So, if you go through the annotated Preseen, since we have come up with tutor annotations, it makes your life easy to remember the most important points highlighted within the Preseen document. And on top of that, we have developed a set of 4 Preseen analysis videos. Those who had already invested on our paid content have access to the Preseen analysis videos, all 4 videos. So once you are done watching the 4 Preseen analysis videos, you'd gain an in-depth understanding about this company's industry, its internal dynamics, as well as financial performance. And additionally, we are also providing a set of TikTok videos, 3 TikTok videos in total, which is provided free of charge, thereby providing you with a good summary or a mind map which covers the entire Preseen within just 6 to 7 minutes. So on a daily basis, if you keep watching these 3 TikToks, you are in a position to continuously keep yourself reminded about what's highlighted, the most important elements which are highlighted within the Preseen document. So out of these 3 TikTok videos, the first one was shared with you via the WhatsApp group in the morning today. And tomorrow, I'll make sure to publicize the second video, TikTok video, where the TikTok video will carry information about the internal parts of partially the information about the internal dynamics of the company. And in the last TikTok video, we'd further provide a mind map about the remaining parts of the internal dynamics of your chosen company. So in order to know your key information, go through the annotated Preseen, watch the 4 Preseen analysis videos, and on a continuous basis, keep watching the 3 TikTok videos. Then you'd remember all the important information. And if you remember the important information about the internal dynamics, external dynamics, as well as the financial performance of your chosen company, then it makes your life easy with regards to Preseen application at your real exam. And you need to know your ratios or your numbers as well. Remember, you are not expected to carry out any major calculations. So, the financial statements at the very end of your Preseen document are provided to you with the intention of ensuring that you are conversant with what happens within the company in a financial sense. So you have to be conversant with what's highlighted within the SOPL, the SOFP, as well as the statement of changes in equity. And on top of that, you have to go through the ratios. You have to compute the ratios as well to figure out about the profitability of the company, its activity ratios, liquidity position, gearing, as well as what did I miss? Activity gearing, as well as what is indicated in the liquidity ratios. Okay, so rather than you having to calculate these ratios on your own, it's better to refer to our financial analysis slides, because then it makes your life easy. And when carrying out these calculations, you can ensure that your calculations are not incorrect, because we our tutors have developed our financial analysis slides. And out of the 4 Preseen analysis videos, the fourth one is about financial analysis, which is based on the set of financial analysis slides which we have developed. So these are the set of financial analysis slides which were developed for the previous case study. So as you can see, all elements of each financial statements have been evaluated. We have kept things simple, kept the evaluation simple, so that you can easily understand what appears within each and every financial statement. And at the very end, a ratio analysis is conducted considering your own company as well as its closest competitor, thereby highlighting about thereby getting into the nitty-gritties with regards to what's highlighted within each financial statement. So, make use of these resources, then you know your numbers. If you know your numbers, you are well poised to do your job as a finance manager. And you are expected to prepare for possible scenarios, yet you have to be open-minded. So you'd gain an in-depth understanding about possible scenarios which can be thrown at you at your examination by attempting the 5 mock exams which we have developed. However, when attempting mock exams, your objective should not be to memorize the scenarios or memorize the answers or memorize answer structures. Instead, your objective should be to gain an understanding about the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam, the type of syllabus areas which can be thrown at you. However, your main role is to be open-minded, or you should focus on being open-minded at your exam. Why? Because the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate corporate scenario or corporate environment at your examination. So in a real-life corporate environment, if you are playing the role of a finance manager, you won't know for sure what type of opportunities or threats the company is faced with at the moment. So you walk into office, you open your laptop or your computer, then you'd receive, a set of emails from your superiors, and these emails will indicate information about some type of opportunities the company is trying to exploit, or some type of issues the company is facing at the moment. So based on the information provided by your superiors, you need to come up with your evaluations, or you need to come up with justified recommendations. So it's best to be open-minded rather than trying to walk into the exam by memorizing what's highlighted within each mock exam. Because as you know, CIMA is a professional qualification. So in a professional qualification, your decision-making skills are tested, especially at this level. You are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. As a finance manager, you are not supposed to memorize anything. Instead, you have to come up with your best recommendations considering what the company faces at the moment. So that's why you need to be open-minded, and remember that the scenario presented in the exam carries the latest information. So what's highlighted within your Preseen document gives us an indication about the history of the company, what it had faced in the past, what it had faced in the previous year, what it's been up to at present, or in the past rather. But when you walk into the exam, it's as if you are receiving an email from your senior finance manager or some other type of director. So it's as if you are provided information about what the company faces right now at present. So just because you are conversant with the Preseen document, you cannot pass the examination. Instead, you have to be open-minded. You have to be ready to face any type of scenario. And when developing answers, you are supposed to consider the information presented in the scenario rather than blindly highlighting what's highlighted within, or blindly mentioning what's highlighted within the Preseen document. Okay, so when it comes to referring to Preseen information in your answers, what are you expected to do? You are supposed to refer or cite in such a way that it adds value to your answer. So when marking papers or marking answer scripts, what I've encountered is most students, with the intention of gaining marks for pre-seen application, they'd mention totally irrelevant information taken from the pre-seen. So if the question is about NPV or investment appraisal, if you talk about the history of the company within your answer, you are not gonna get any marks. Or if the question is about financing options, if you talk about the number of buildings we have at the moment, you're not going to get any marks. Instead, where if the question is about financing options, it's prudent to talk about the gearing ratio, the existing gearing ratio, and based on the numbers provided, it's better to recalculate the fresh gearing ratio, and considering the new gearing ratio, comparing it to the previous one, you have to provide your evaluations. And when talking about financing options, it's good to talk about um, the interest cover ratio as well. So as per the Preseen document, our interest cover is 2.5 times to 1, which indicates that we are generating 2.5 times operating profits compared to our finance costs, which indicate that we can easily pay our loan interests, or we can easily pay or settle our finance costs. So all these elements should be highlighted within your answer. If so, if you are bringing in relevant information which is totally aligned with what's highlighted within each scenario, then you'd get marks. So if it's a question about financing options, if you talk about the present gearing ratio, and if you talk about the interest cover, that's how you gain marks for pre-seen application. You won't get any marks for talking about the number of buildings we own, what we have been doing in the past, when we got ourselves quoted in the stock exchange and whatnot. All these are considered to be irrelevant information. Always remember, you are reporting to the senior management of your company. So in such an environment, the senior management are totally conversant with the past or the history of the company. So when mentioning pre-seen information or bringing in information from the pre-seen, you need to make sure that you bring in information with the intention of improving the quality or the value of the evaluations which you are providing, or improving the justifications which you are providing. So show your understanding of the pre-seen material through relevant answers without making it obvious that you are trying to prove you have studied it. So as I mentioned earlier, you are playing the role of a finance manager. You are not expected to memorize anything. Instead, your role is to come up with appropriate evaluations and justified recommendations, considering what's highlighted within each and every scenario. So in order to understand how pre-seen application should be worked on in a practical sense, attend the third webinar. I've got this wrong. It's not exam technique. It should be answering technique rather. So if you attend the third webinar, since I'm going to take you through a mock exam and its answer structure, then you'd really understand what I'm talking about, or what you need to do with regards to pre-seen application. And you can easily learn or improve your pre-seen application skills by referring to suggested answers, our answer plans, as well as mock exams. And you can significantly improve your pre-seen application skills by watching our 20 master classes, which are done covering each and every task. Okay, so with regards to coming up with a study plan for E2, F2, and P2, how are you supposed to approach it? Most students are clueless about how to approach these elements with regards to theory coverage, especially if you are coming through an exemption route. You'd want to know how to tackle these areas. As you know, it takes a lot of time to go through extensive syllabus coverage pertaining to E2, F2, and P2. However, we have made your life easy. We have developed a set of master classes, and in each master class, whilst explaining the logic behind each answer covered within our mock exams, we are also teaching you theory and application skills. So even if you're clueless about theoretical elements, especially students who are coming through exemption routes, they have knowledge gaps pertaining to F2 and P2 syllabi. So if you try to go through the study texts pertaining to F2 and P2, you cannot get your preparations done within 7 weeks. So from the day of the release until release of the Preseen until your exam, you have something like 6 to 7 weeks. So within these 6 to 7 weeks, if you try to go through your study texts, then you'd be wasting a lot of time. Rather than doing that, you have to solely focus on attempting mock exams, because if you focus on the mock exams, we have developed the 5 mocks covering the entire syllabus. So if you attempt all 5 mock exams before your real examination, then you have practiced exams under exam conditions, which covers the entire syllabus. And if you watch all the master classes which we have developed, the 20 master classes, then you'd learn theory. Since the master classes are totally aligned with the 5 mock exams which we have developed, and since the mock exams cover the entire syllabus, you'd learn theory which covers the entire syllabus, as well as you'd significantly improve your application skills. So this is the best way to learn theory and improve application skills within a short period of time. So that's exactly why most students coming through exemption routes end up getting more than 100 marks after sticking to our 7-week study plan and watching the master classes which we provide. So you have to be prepared for application of theories and concepts at your examination. Although I'm saying this, if you provide highly theoretical answers, you're going to fail your exam, because as the finance manager, you are expected to come up with practical recommendations and practical evaluations rather than providing highly theoretical answers, because your senior finance manager will not want to learn theory. Instead, when conducting the daily responsibilities at office, whenever faced with a problem, they'd ask you for a solution. So you are supposed to provide solutions rather than coming up with or explaining theory when developing your answers. So you need to know your theory, but if you simply come up with highly theoretical answers, you are not supposed to, you won't pass your examination. Instead, when developing your recommendations or when providing evaluations, if you utilize your theoretical knowledge, you'd come up with high quality evaluations and the best type of recommendations. So you need to know theory, but when developing your answers, you are supposed to utilize your theoretical knowledge and come up with better recommendations and better evaluations. And on top of that, you are expected to prepare for interpretation of figures and numbers at your exam. You are not supposed to do major calculations. Instead, all the numbers, facts, and figures will be provided. Your role is to evaluate these numbers or interpret these numbers, facts, and figures. So that's aligned with your role as a finance manager, because a finance manager will rarely do any calculations. The calculations, the facts and figures will be provided to the finance manager, and utilizing these figures, you are expected to come up with your evaluations or recommendations. So when with regards to syllabus coverage, you are not expected to skip any topic, because any syllabus area can be tested at your exam. So with this in mind, we have developed the 5 mocks covering the entire syllabus. So if you attempt all 5 mock exams and stick to the study techniques which we have highlighted, then there's absolutely no way that you'd encounter a question which was not covered within our mock exams. And do not rely on predictions, as any area can be examined. So we are not as I mentioned earlier, you're not expected to memorize what's covered within the mock exams. Instead, you are supposed to attempt the mock exams to gain an understanding about how each theoretical concept is tested at the MCS exam. That should be your objective. Your objective should not be to memorize the answers, memorize the type of questions which are thrown at you, because in a real life corporate environment, you cannot be prepared for anything. Instead, it's best to understand what's highlighted within each scenario, and then aligned with the information or considering the information, you are supposed to come up with your evaluations. Okay, so that's what you need to do with regards to Preseen application and handling theoretical elements. So before we move into the Preseen analysis, let me quickly mention what we offer at TCS. So we are on the MCS page. So you can click on this button and check free content which we offer. So the free content consists of the recorded versions of all webinars and workshops. And on top of that, you'd also gain access to a mini mock, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. And if you're interested in investing on our paid content, before you do that, check our sample material by clicking on this button. And if you are yet to join the MCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it, because on a weekly basis, we'd keep you informed about the weekly webinars and workshops which we are conducting. And on top of that, via the WhatsApp group, we'd share a plethora of additional study material or free study material, and we'd be providing free study support 24/7 via this MCS WhatsApp group. So please join it if you are yet to be part of it. Then talking about the two packages we offer. First things first, talking about the value pack. This is designed for students who had completed their OTQ examinations. So if you are a student who is coming through the CIMA general route, if you had completed your OTQ exams, you need not learn theory, because without being conversant with the theoretical elements, you are not in a position to pass your OTQ examination. So if you had passed your OTQ exams, and after passing these OTQs, if you are at the MCS level, you need not learn theory. So focused on these type of students, we have developed the value pack. So via the value pack, you would get access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops, the 5 mock exams with suggested answers, and as I mentioned earlier, the 5 mock exams have been developed covering the entire syllabus. And you'd also gain access to the 4 Preseen analysis videos, the annotated Preseen industry and financial analysis slides. You saw what our financial analysis slides look like. In a little while, you would see what's highlighted within our industry analysis slides as well. And you'd also gain access to top 10 likely issues, which highlight the type of scenarios, the highly probable scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real examination. The value pack also consists of a case study familiarization kit. So within 10 to 15 minutes time, you can gain an understanding about the technicalities about the MCS exam by going through this familiarization kit. And you'd also have access to a tutor managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So when attempting each mock exam, if you feel that when attempting a certain subtask, you did not come up with a better answer, or if you feel that you had forgotten a theoretical element which you have already learned, simply go through the revision cards to brush up your knowledge concerning each syllabus area. So this is priced at £199. So if you go for the value pack, you'd have to attempt the mock exams on your own. However, simply stick to the study plan which we have provided. If you do, you are expected to attempt a mock exam per week. So when attempting each mock exam, do it on the exam conditions, time it, because you won't have access to the exam platform via the value pack. So when attempting the mock exams on your own, time it, and keep practicing the answering and time management techniques, which we'll explain in the upcoming webinar, which is happening on the 6th of April. So that's the value pack. And moving on to the premium package. The premium package is designed for students who are coming through the exemption routes such as FLP and the management gateway, or for those who had failed the MCS exam previously. So both these set of students, those who had failed previously as well as those who are coming through an exemption route, have knowledge gaps. So because of these knowledge gaps, they end up failing the exam. And on top of that, just because you learn theory, you won't pass the MCS exam. You need to work on your application skills as well. So most students coming through exemption routes, they need to learn theory as well as improve application skills. And if you failed previously, definitely you would have failed because of knowledge gaps as well as application skills. So focused on these set of students, we have developed the premium pack. So the premium pack comes with everything which is covered under the value pack. Additionally, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform. So when attempting each of your 5 mock exams, you can do it under exam conditions via our exam platform. So the benefit of this is you can get accustomed to exam stress. So rather than experiencing brain freeze on the day of your exam, it's better to experience all these different types of stresses and pressures way before the exam when attempting the mock exams. Then, since you have encountered these problems, you know what to do to manage stress levels during the exam. And on top of that, in the third webinar, we will be explaining and answering and time management technique. Just because you know these technicalities, you cannot get it right at your exam. Instead, you need to keep practicing answering and time management techniques to champion it. And the best way to do it is by attempting the 5 mocks via the mock exam platform. We have developed a mock exam platform or an exam platform which is akin to the Pearson VUE system, which you'd use at your real exam. So it's of utmost importance that you attempt all 5 mocks under exam conditions whilst practicing answering and time management techniques via our exam platform. And on top of that, you'd also gain access to one-on-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5. So the first 2 mocks out of the 5 mocks, the first 2 mocks are there to get your bearings with the answering and time management techniques. And from mock 3 onwards, we are providing you with one-on-one tutor feedback. So this is the type of tutor feedback which we provide at TCS. So after you had submitted your mock exam, within 48 hours, you'd receive this type of tutor feedback. So as you can see, throughout the answer script, we have provided with our evaluations and recommendations. And at the very end of the answer script, mark allocations are provided on a subtask by subtask basis. And a success rate, this which we have indicated, the success rate which is provided on a subtask by subtask basis indicates the subtasks in which your performance is not up to the required level of standard. So if you look at this student's performance, this student had failed the exam by gaining just 68 marks. And after receiving tutor feedback, you'd really know what your shortcomings are. Rather than trying to attempt the entire mock by allocating 3 hours, rather than wasting time, you are expected to simply focus on the subtasks where your performance was low. And focused on these subtasks, you are expected to redevelop answer plans. That's the best type of revision you should be involved with when preparing for an exam within a short period of time. So this is the type of feedback you'd receive for mocks 3, 4, and 5 if you opt for the premium package. And this also comes with answer plans of all 5 mock exams. So rather than you having to go through pages and pages of suggested answers, we have made your life easy when it comes to conducting your revision, understanding the structure of each answer plan, understanding how theoretical elements had been brought in, how to improve your application skills, as well as understanding what type of relevant Preseen information should be brought in when developing the answer. All these things can easily be understood by referring to the answer plans which we have developed for each of our mock exams. So by going through this is a good summary, as well as you can easily understand how to structure your answers. And this is extremely beneficial for students who had failed previously and those who are coming through an exemption route. So, and additionally, you would gain access to the 20 master classes. So in each of our mock exams, just like in your real exam, it consists of 4 tasks. So 4 tasks into 5 mock exams comes up to 20 tasks in total. So focused on each task, we have developed master classes. So 20 master classes in total. And in each master class, we'd explain the logic behind each answer whilst teaching you theory and application skills. So once you had watched these master classes, you'd really understand the theoretical elements covering the entire syllabus. And on top of that, you'd significantly improve your application skills. And all these resources will ensure a sure pass. So because of that, we are providing a pass guarantee. So what does this pass guarantee entail? So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you'd gain access to the premium package in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete all 5 mock exams. If not, you are taking a chance at the exam. Just by attempting 1 or 2 mocks, you cannot cover the entire syllabus. So if you are to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete all 5 mock exams. And when developing your answers or when attempting each mock exam, your answers should be original. You are not supposed to copy and paste information from the suggested answers. You are not supposed to replicate the answer plans before attempting each mock exam. Instead, try to give your best shot. If so, you are in a position to really understand what your shortcomings are. So don't cheat. If you cheat, you are actually cheating yourself, because then you won't know your shortcomings. And if you do not do do something to overcome your shortcomings, you are not in a position to pass your MCS exam. And you are supposed to meet the performance criteria for mocks 3, 4, and 5. You need to gain 40% or more when attempting mocks 3, 4, and 5. We have come up with this performance criteria with the intention of ensuring that you do a serious job when attempting the last 3 mocks, especially given the fact that you are getting tutor feedback. So after completing all these 3 requirements, it's highly unlikely that you'd fail the exam. That's exactly why we are providing a pass guarantee. So the package is priced at £749. You can pay in 2 installments of £374 each. Or if you opt to pay in full, you can save £100. Therefore, the package will be £649. And all products are available until the 31st of August 2024. So if you're planning on attempting your exams in August, you can invest right now and get a head start. And let me quickly tell you what you are supposed to achieve as per our study plan. So our study plan can be accessed via the website itself. So simply click on this button, and according to the study plan, we are in week number 1. You are supposed to attend the second webinar Preseen analysis, which we have done already. So congratulations. Watch the Preseen analysis videos, 4 videos in total. Refer to the annotated Preseen and refer to financial analysis, industry analysis, and top 10 issue slides. So all these are already available on the website. Those who had already invested on paid content have access to all these things, because these were uploaded at about 11 a.m. today. So within this week, you are supposed to gain an in-depth understanding about what's highlighted within the Preseen. So refer to the study material which are available on the website. And from the next week onwards, you have to start attempting mock exams. So after attending the 3rd webinar, you'd learn answering and time management techniques. After you had learned these technicalities, then you are supposed to implement these techniques whilst attempting each mock on a weekly basis. So if you stick to our study plan, you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time, out of which 3 hours is about attempting a mock per week. The remaining 4 hours is about watching the master classes. So your real responsibility is finding 3 hours at a stretch and attempting a mock exam per week. Everything else is handled by us. All right, so that's what we offer at TCS. And having said that, let's move on to the Preseen analysis. So before we move on, I think some questions had come in, so I'm going to address these questions. Let me pause the recording. All right, seems like there aren't any questions, so I'm moving into the Preseen analysis. Okay, so before I take you through the Preseen document, let me explain the industry dynamics. It's better to understand what this industry is about, and after gaining an in-depth understanding about the industry, you can easily you'd be in a position to easily understand what happens within your chosen company, Flatthall. Okay, so our industry analysis slides consist of 4 main elements. I'm not going to take you through the entire set of slides. Instead, I'm just going to provide an overview into the industry and highlight the industry trends, thereby covering the first 2 elements which are highlighted within our industry analysis slides. Okay, And so first things first, let's look at the market definition. So we are looking at PBSAs, or in other terms, purpose-built student accommodation service providers. So what are PBSAs? So in order to gain an understanding about what this industry is, it's better to understand what type of customers are focused by players within this industry. So let's assume you are a university student, and you are located within you are residing in Manchester, and you get selected to attend a university in London. So you cannot commute on a daily basis, because you'd have to spend something around 4 hours every time you go to London. So in such an environment, it's better to accommodate yourself closer to the university. So focused on these type of students, players within this industry had come up with a solution. So when finding accommodation within a highly populated area or an urban area, it's not too easy, because you'd have to find you'd have to find lodging in private houses, or else some universities provide their own lodging as well. If that is the case, everything's fine. You need not spend a lot of money to live within the university. You need not spend a lot of time to find accommodation if the university is providing accommodation on its own. However, if the internal accommodation provided by the university is full, you do not have any other option but to live in somebody else's house. So when living in somebody else's house, you might have to face some conflicts. You might have to deal with landlords who are not too friendly, and the type of services offered by these private landlords differ significantly. So you are not too sure about the comfort, the level of comfort, and the type of independence you'd have as a university student when finding accommodation. So with the intention of ensuring that these students, the needs of these students are fulfilled, the PBSA or the purpose-built student accommodation service providers had come into the picture. So these are residential buildings specifically constructed to provide accommodation for university or college students, as I mentioned earlier. And these are typically located near educational institutions. So the PBSAs are not supposed to rent out their premises to professionals or non-students. Instead, these PBSAs should rent out their premises solely focused on students. So because of that, these PBSAs are typically located near educational institutions, so that the students can easily travel or walk to the universities on a daily basis without spending a lot of time and money on transportation. And these are tailored to provide a conducive environment for student living. So the students are involved with full-time studies. They have the capability of working somewhere, but you have the capability of working for 20 hours per week. So mostly students are expected to be involved with their studies. So in order to ensure that students have a conducive environment which is meant to carry out their studies in the most successful manner, the PBSAs had developed their buildings. And the PBSAs are gaining popularity in recent years due to their convenience, modern facilities, and focus on student needs. Okay, so what are the alternatives to PBSAs? So I highlighted these things earlier on when explaining what this industry and what type of students, what type of customers we are dealing with. So there are halls of residence. These are the facilities which are provided by universities. So these are residential buildings provided by universities and colleges to accommodate their students, and these are typically located on or near campuses, and usually the demand is extremely high for halls of residence. Why? Because the halls of residence are extremely cheap compared to PBSS. Why is this the case? Because the halls of residence are small. Sometimes in one single room, you'd have two different individuals living together. So because of that, the rentals are cheap. And on top of that, since you are living within the university itself, you need not spend additional money, or you need not compensate the service providers for additional stuff such as additional facilities and security, because you are already within the university. The university can use its existing security staff, and the university can provide the existing facilities such as gardens, sport areas, media rooms and whatnot at a cheaper rate. So because of that, halls of residence is the best type of accommodation a student can find, because it's cheap and it's convenient. And the second option is with regards to private rentals. These are homes or flats rented out by private landlords to students. And as I mentioned earlier, these are expensive compared to halls of residence. And on top of that, the type of quality of services offered vary significantly. And you have to deal with landlords, which is not too easy. So, all in all, considering these three options, the first option of any student is to live in a hall of residence. The second option is a PBSA, and the third option is opting for private rentals. So most students opt for private rentals if halls of residence and PBSAs are full. Okay, then let's look at the type of facilities offered by PBSAs. There are study areas. They provide high-speed internet usually. There are security features as well. There are fitness centers in certain PBSAs. The modern PBSAs have fitness centers. There are laundry facilities. So these are additional revenue generating methods adopted by PBSAs, because you can charge the students for gym access as well as access to laundry facilities. And there are common kitchens as well, which are used by different students who are living within a flat on a sharing basis. And there are special bathrooms, attached bathrooms can be seen within certain PBSs, not in all, but in expensive PBSs you have private bathrooms or attached bathrooms. And there are social spaces as well. Most PBSs out there, they encourage social gatherings, social events and whatnot. Why? Because then you can retain the customers, you can satisfy the customers. You are dealing with a set of youngsters. They are always open for social gatherings. They are always open to party. So if you fulfill these requirements, you are in a position to retain these guys for 2 or 3 years until the degree is done. And there is on-site management related services offered, concierge services and whatnot. And different type of utilities are provided for which the students are billed, and there are outdoor spaces as well. Okay, so having said, having looked at all these things, I hope you would have gained an understanding about what PBSAs are. So let's look at the trends which are changing this industry. So there is a growth in demand for PBSAs. So there's exponential growth within this sector, because PBSAs started just 30 to 20 years back. Before that, students had to live within the university, or find lodging with a private service provider. But now, 20 to 30 years back, PBSAs were introduced, and with that, the demand for PBSAs are growing, especially given the fact that they are well furnished. There are different types of facilities, which keeps the students happy at all times. And on top of that, there are increased investments coming into this industry as well. So many institutional investors, private equity firms, and real estate developers are moving into this market, especially given the fact that you can retain the customer for something like 2 to 3 years. So a student who would enroll within a university usually will use accommodation for 2 or 3 years. So because of that, most institutional investors are coming into this market. And there are diversified offerings as well. As I mentioned earlier, additional services are provided, such as access to gyms, certain PBSAs have their own, pools, plunge pools and whatnot as well. So all these, as well as sport areas, media rooms. So all these type of different offerings are provided to students with the intention of retaining them and driving superior levels of customer satisfaction. And there are partnerships within institutions as well. PBSAs are partnering up with universities, because of these partnerships, they can ensure that there is a steady influx of students, which will keep the occupation rates high. And there's a high focus on technology as well. So these PBSAs are developed for students, and students are always looking for Wi-Fi speeds, and access to you know electricity and whatnot. So all these different types of facilities are provided. And there is a rise of hybrid models as well. As I mentioned earlier, PBSAs are solely focused, or PBSAs should be solely focused on students. However, nowadays you see a hybrid business model where PBSAs are attracting digital nomads as well, because all different types of facilities are there, which can be provided to entrepreneurs, as well as young corporate citizens, digital nomads and whatnot. So there is a rise of hybrid models, but this comes with legal repercussions as well, because many as per what's as per the industry dynamics of the PBSA sector, many governments or local councils prevent PBSAs from renting out their premises to non-student individuals, especially focusing on safety and security of students. So because of that, there are problems with the hybrid model. So these are the trends, and based on these trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real examination, and we have covered these elements within our mock exams as well. Okay, so having said that, let's move on to the Preseen document. I'm solely going to focus on the first part of internal analysis. So out of the 4 videos, as I mentioned in the first webinar, the first video is about an external analysis, or analyzing the industry. The second video is about highlighting the first part of internal dynamics. And in the third video, the remaining parts of internal dynamics are highlighted. And in the fourth and final video, the financial statements are explained in depth. So in this session, since we do not have time to take you through the entire Preseen document, I'm solely going to focus on the first part of industry dynamics concerning Flatthall, internal dynamics rather, concerning Flatthall. So Flatthall was founded in 1994. So we had been within this market, operating within this market for the past 30 years, which should be considered as a strength of our business. And the company grew steadily, adding more buildings across Towland. We are based in a country called Towland, which has a strong tertiary education sector, or a higher education sector. So when the higher education sector is booming, then it's better for us, because then we'd have high student numbers. High student numbers will ensure that it brings additional business or additional revenue for us in the future. So we have grown steadily over a period of 30 years, and now we own 174 buildings that can accommodate a total of 78,000 students. So considering this information, you can expect a scenario where the company is building or constructing additional buildings, especially given the fact that over a period of 30 years, we had grown and significantly improved our number of properties. And Flatthall was listed on the Towland Stock Exchange in 2002. So for the past 22 years, we have been quoted within the Towlandian Stock Exchange, which is again good for our reputation. And this should be considered as a strength of the company. And the quality of service and promotion drive our sales. And these are our 2 most important critical success factors. So rather than competing on price, most PBSAs within Towland, they compete on promotions and quality of service. why is this the case? Because if these players, if these PBSAs compete with each other based on price, if one PBSA decreases their price, then all the other PBSAs will have to decrease their rentals as well. So rather than doing something which affects their margins in an adverse manner, it makes sense to keep the rentals at the same position or at the same level, and rather than competing on price, it makes business sense to compete based on the quality of services provided and compete based on how we conduct promotions or how we conduct our marketing initiatives. So that's exactly what we are doing. So these are two important critical success factors of our company. There is very little difference between the rents charged by different PBSA providers. So as I mentioned earlier, the players within this market are not competing on price, which is good for our margins. There is no need to compete by reducing rents. So there's no price wars which we can see, and this is a favorable market condition. So because of that, this should be considered as an opportunity when you consider this industry, because all places are filled well before the start of the academic year. So it indicates that the demand for PBSAs exceed the supply. So considering this fact, definitely there will be a possible exam scenario about constructing a new PBSA in a new location. So if there's a question as such, the type of theoretical knowledge which can be tested will be with regards to investment appraisal. So you'd have to appraise this investment utilizing your knowledge pertinent to what you have learned under your P2 syllabus. And this type of construction will expose us to business risks. So you have to have the capability of evaluating business risks, and on top of that, recommending appropriate mitigatory action. So all these elements are covered again within the P2 syllabus. And when trying to exploit this type of an opportunity with regards to constructing a new PBSA, we'd have to deal with different sources of finance. So you have to be conversant with the type of debt financing options at our disposal, equity financing options, and you have to be conversant with the gearing ratio, the interest cover and whatnot, which are covered within the F2 syllabus. And constructing a new PBSA is a project. So your project management related theoretical knowledge will be tested, which is covered within your E2 syllabus. And on top of that, when constructing a new building, you'd have to deal with different type of stakeholders. So your HR related knowledge will also be tested at your examination. So all these elements are covered within our mock exams. And if you have once you had watched the master classes and gone through the answer plans, you'd really understand what these theoretical elements are all about. Then rents do vary between cities in line with local demand. For example, renting a room in PBSA block in capital city is 20% more expensive than a similar room in central city. So if you are located within suburb, then the demand for land is less compared to city centers. So because of that, rentals charged by PBSS in suburbs are significantly less compared to PBSS located within city centers, because within city centers you'd get universities which are high in demand. So because of that, the rentals charged by PBSS will be high as well. So the average rental rates should be factored when selecting the location for constructing a new PBSA. So when constructing a new PBSA or constructing a new building, we have to consider the rentals charged by the existing players within a certain locality. Okay, then talking about building operations adopted by this company. So although we are in the service sector, we are involved with building our own PBSAs as well. So all of Flatthall's buildings are within 20 minutes travel from at least one institution's campus based on walking distance or public transport. So as I mentioned earlier, it's of utmost importance that our PBSAs are in close vicinity to the university, or else our students will be dissatisfied, because the objective of constructing PBSAs is to ensure that students are located closer to their university so that they can easily go to their classes without having to spend a lot of money on transportation. So with that in mind, when developing PBSAs or our, when developing our premises, Flatthall had made sure to come up with premises which are in close vicinity to each university. And Flatthall pays close attention to the availability of potential sites for new buildings in towns and cities that have large student populations, and will act quickly to purchase suitable sites before they can be acquired by competitors. So all this information gives us an indication about the approach the company adopts when it comes to putting up buildings. So they are adhering to a proactive approach that enables Flatthall to sustain its market leader position. Why is this the case? Because if we are in a position to keep track of student numbers in each locality within Towland, then we are in a position to develop our properties whenever there is a surge in demand for a certain university. If so, it will expose us to significant revenue increments in the future. Okay, so this is how a typical flat is designed. So as you can see, in each flat, there's a communal area as well as a set of bathrooms, and there are different bedrooms. 6 to 8 bedrooms can be seen in a typical flat. So each of the accommodation floors in Flatthall's buildings is subdivided into several flats, which allows for an efficient use of space. So this is how the floor plan, a typical floor plan of one of our buildings look like. So as you can see, there are 6 different flats. Flat 1, and where is flat 2? It's here. Flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, 5, and 6. And each flat consists of a communal area as well as a set of bathrooms, and there are 8 bedrooms in each flat, and there are lifts as well, so that you can move from one floor to another, and their fire exists as well, with the intention of ensuring that the people who are residing are safe. Okay, so this building has 6 flats on each accommodation floor and 8 bedrooms in each flat, as I mentioned earlier, which means that each floor can accommodate 48 students. And while you should be aware of the main facilities and the type of amenities and facilities available in Flatthall's PBSS, you are not expected to be familiar with the architectural plan for the building for examination purposes. Why? You are playing the role of a finance manager, so you need not be really conversant with the floor plans and whatnot. These elements will not be tested at your exam. Instead, this information had been provided simply so that you'd gain a better understanding about what this company is up to. And buildings have fully equipped laundry rooms with automatic washing machines and dryers. As I mentioned earlier, most PBSs out there provide additional facilities and services. So these are the type of facilities and services offered by Flatthall. So we offer access to laundry rooms, which brings us additional revenue. The machines are equipped with card readers that enable students to pay for the use of these facilities using their credit or debit cards. These are an additional revenue stream. And Flatthall's buildings are kept secure to protect residents and their property, and access is restricted by key cards. So security, ensuring safety and security of residents is a key factor when conducting our business, because we are not dealing with adults. Instead, we are dealing with a bunch of students. So we have to ensure that someone responsible works within each facility, so that if there is an issue, there's somebody to take the necessary type of action. So that's exactly why we have concierge service within each of our facilities. I'll explain what our concierge employees are up to in a little while. So higher standards of security is being implemented, which is a strength for our business. So if our the type of security and safety which we offer, it is if it is better than all the other players in the market, then the parents of students will not think twice before sending their kid or locating their kid within a PBSA. Okay, each building has a team of concierges that work in shifts to ensure that at least one is on duty at any given time. And the primary role is safety and security. So that's exactly what I highlighted previously. We have to ensure safety and security. So with that in mind, we have appointed a set of concierge employees. And apart from security, the concierges act as a point of contact for students. So for example, if the students are not too satisfied with a certain service which we offer, they are supposed to talk to concierge service or concierge employees, and these concierge employees in turn will are supposed to take necessary action. And on top of that, the concierges are responsible for enforcing rules relating to residents' behavior. Concierges will deal with unsociable behavior such as playing loud music. So considering all these information, what you can understand is concierge employees should be conversant with ensuring safety and security. They should have good communication skills because you are dealing with a set of students. So because of that, if you are too bossy, you are not in a position to provide or fulfill the needs of the students. You need to have good communication skills. And on top of that, these concierge employees, since they are handling discipline within these PBSs, they have to have some type of leadership traits as well. So all these elements should be inculcated or considered, and we should conduct regular training sessions with the intention of ensuring that our concierge employees are well equipped and well experienced to carry out the different responsibilities which they are expected to do when conducting or when carrying out their jobs. Okay, so having competent and friendly staff is essential to ensure excellent service for students. So considering concierge employees, your knowledge pertaining to HR aspects will definitely be tested because they are playing some type of an HR role. You are expected to be conversant with HR elements which are covered within your E2 syllabus. And with regards to the concierge employees having to enforce rules, there will be a possible exam scenario which highlights a dispute between these concierge employees and students. And if so, your knowledge pertaining to conflict resolution, which is covered within the E2 syllabus, will be tested. Your knowledge pertaining to handling communication in the most effective and appropriate manner will be tested. And how to conduct disciplinary action, again, which falls under the E2 syllabus, will be tested. We have covered all these elements within our mock exams. And Flatthall employs cleaners at each of its buildings as well. So these cleaning staff are employed within Flatthall itself. And also, Flatthall employs independent contractors to deal with repairs and maintenance in its buildings. So what you need to understand is we have concierge employees as well as janitors who are working for Flatthall or employees of Flatthall. We are well known for the type of service we offer, student-friendly services we offer. That's why we need to have concierge employees. And on top of that, PBSA's premises are known for its cleanliness. So that's exactly why we have full-time employees working within these buildings as cleaners. And rental agreements terminate at the end of the second semester because as per the industry dynamics highlighted within this Preseen document, you'd gain an understanding about these elements if you watch the first Preseen analysis video. Students utilize our premises for 2 semesters. So the semester starts in September and ends somewhere in April after the exams are done. And during the summer, which spans from May to August, students are supposed to vacate the premises. They are not expected to live within our facilities. That's how the industry works. So the rental agreements, because of that, terminate at the end of the second semester or terminate at the end of April, at which time students move out. Flatthall's buildings are vacant during summer, and each building is given a thorough cleaning during that time. The interiors of the building are also redecorated so that they are fresh and inviting for students. And this is a critical success factor. Keeping, or renovating or redecorating our premises during summer is a critical success factor. If not, we are not in a position to attract new students to reside within our premises. This attention to detail is one of the factors that enables Flatthall to compete with rival PBSA service providers. So because of that, I've mentioned the fact that this is a critical success factor. All right, so I said that we are involved with building our own premises, and on top of that, we are also involved with carrying out our own promotional activities. So as I mentioned earlier, two of our key or main critical success factors are with regards to the type of services we offer and how we conduct our promotions. So I highlighted how we the type of services we offer, the facilities, as well as the type of employees we are using to offer the required type of service. Now I'm moving on to promotions. So when it comes to promotions, we are utilizing our website. So we are involved with digital marketing initiatives. So via the website, we are providing information about vacant premises, about the type of facilities we offer, about the technical details about the buildings which we have developed so far. All these elements are provided, and on top of that, students can book vacant bedroom um, via our website, which is good. We are offering convenience, and on top of that, we are also offering photographs or which are supplemented by video tours that enable students to experience the illusion of walking through the building. So we have developed a user-friendly and all-encompassing website, which is vital to attract students because it serves as the primary source of information to our students. So our website looks good. So because of that, we are generating a lot of sales through it, and students can reserve rooms online with an initial payment to secure their rooms. So we are taking a down payment. So usually PBSAs opt for a down payment or a security deposit. Why? Because if one of the occupants damage the property, then you can recoup these damages via these security deposits. So via our websites, students can pay these refundable security deposits, and Flatthall will refund any initial payment for students whose places are withdrawn. So sometimes students might not, although they book our premises, they might not come and reside there. For instance, when dealing with international students, if their visas are rejected, they are not in a position to come and utilize our services. If so, we'd refund them the money which they have already paid. And on top of that, some students after a semester, if they fail their examinations, they cannot continue with their studies. So in such an environment, we'd end up refunding our money. So with regards to refunds, your knowledge pertaining to accounting for refunds, which are highlighted within the F2 syllabus, will be tested. And again, we have covered this element within one of our mock exams. And on top of conducting our promotional campaigns via the website, we also use freshers fairs as well, which are conducted by universities. So we usually set up stands at these freshers fairs, and we employ past students who had utilized our facilities within these freshers fairs, and we pay them a good hourly rate. So this is the best way to convince another student when we are utilizing a student who had actually used our services previously. And on top of that, we conduct our own open days as well. And when conducting these open days, again, we utilize the services of previous occupants by paying them an hourly rate. And on top of that, so there is a high level of satisfaction. We should achieve a high level of satisfaction when dealing with our existing customers or existing students, because if so, it will lead to positive word of mouth, and positive word of mouth will ensure that our revenues, the demand for our premises, will increase. With that, our revenues will increase in the future. And Flatthall pays a generous hourly rate to students. Yes, all that I covered. And on top of that, we are paying for referrals as well. whenever a student brings another student or recommends another student, we are paying a commission to these students as well. And the company aims to maintain an excellent relationship with students in order to encourage repeat bookings and maintain a positive reputation. So all in all, with regards to promotions, we are utilizing our website in an effective manner. We are conducting our own open days. We are carrying out a referral program, and we put up stalls within freshers fairs as well. So we conduct promotions in 4 main ways. All right, so these are the internal dynamics of your chosen company, Flatthall. If you want to gain an in-depth understanding about the organizational structure, the type of leadership within the company, and on top of that, the business model adopted by the company, you are expected to watch the third pre-scene analysis video along with the rest of the pre-scene analysis videos, which can be accessed via the paid content. All right, so having said that, let me remind you about the MCS pass rate, which we achieved for November 2023. We are happy to say that we achieved a 90% pass rate. And this student, when the pass mark is 80, this student ended up getting 114. And this was a student who came through the exemption route, FLP route to be precise. And within just 3 weeks, by sticking to our study plan, this student was able to achieve 114 marks. There were significant knowledge gaps as well as issues with application skills. But after receiving tutor feedback, after watching the master classes, this student was able to overcome all these issues and ended up scoring 114 marks. All right. Any questions, folks? So I've spent a lot of time, talking. So now it's your turn to talk. Any questions? I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. Thank you very much for those questions and the positive feedback which we have provided. So I'm gonna end the session. I hope you gained something out of this session. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. So if you click on this button, you would be directed to the get in touch area. So simply by filling out these areas, you are in a position to get in touch with us. You can drop us an email over info@study@tcs.com or simply contact us via WhatsApp through this number. You can find the number within the website as well. And I invite you to, I actually forgot to talk about the blog post. I invite you guys to read the blog post which we have developed. We have already shared the link to the blog post via the WhatsApp group. So this is the first blog post concerning your company. So it's a good summary about the industry, what Flatthall is up to, as well as the type of limitations within the company and what it needs to do to overcome these limitations. And on top of that, in the upcoming weeks, I will be uploading another blog post concerning your MCS examination. So simply click on this button and read the blog posts, which will be extremely beneficial for you. And follow us on our social media handles as well. The recorded versions of these sessions will be uploaded onto YouTube. So make sure to subscribe our YouTube channel. And on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, the pre-scene mind maps will be uploaded onto our TikTok channel handle rather. So go check it out and follow it as well, so that you'll be notified about all different types of resources which we share via our TikTok handle. So having said that, it brings us to the end of tonight's webinar. So thank you very much for joining in. I hope you gained something out of this session. And if you're planning to, attempt your exams in May, according to our study plan, within this week, you have to be conversant with the pre-scene in its entirety. And from next week onwards, you have to start attempting mock exams. So invest on your preferred package right now, rather than waiting until the last moment. If so, you can fulfill all the requirements by allocating just 7 hours of study time per week. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the session. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope to see you in our next webinar where I'll be explaining, answering, and time management techniques. Thank you. Take care and good night.